Hey guys, welcome to Fearless Cooking. Hey, today's episode is recorded because I figured this Sunday is Super Bowl and it's like people are going to be going to Super Bowl parties or they're going to be, trying to get like set up for the game. So I decided there's not anything that's any more of a Super Bowl meal than hot wings. And since the whole one of the goals with Fearless Cooking is fixing great tasting food, but keeping it paleo and kind of giving you an idea of how to keep it. If you want to do it keto, I figured, hey, might as well attempt that with hot wings. And I've got a new toy that I've been playing with. I got it at Christmas. It's an air fryer. So I figured, hey, let's if it's an utter failure, you'll never see this recording. I'll do it again, but hopefully, we can pull this thing off. So what we're gonna do is these are like drumettes. So I guess it's basically the wing that they cut the wingtip off of. And I've had them on a paper towel, just trying to get the skin dry. So what I'm gonna do real quick is just hit these with some salt. And I could have done it ahead of time, but it's like, I figured we'd do it, do it once we got started. I don't know how much of this is actually going to stick, but we'll try. And then I'll turn them over on the, before I put that on there, I want to hit this with just a little bit of oil. So I'm using, it's a Cuisinart air fryer. And it's got I'll show you what the kind of the basket looks like on this one. I looked at some of the round ones and I just decided that those things didn't seem like that had enough area to really cook much. So, I don't know if this is that much bigger or not, but I'm just going to put a little bit of avocado oil on a paper towel and I'm just going to rub this on the screen just to see if I can keep it. See how this works. So I'm going to lay them down kind of dress side down, since I've already salt and peppered that side, and then I'll just salt and pepper this other side. And we're not wanting to crowd it, so I'm just kind of spacing them out. And obviously this would be, you probably, if you're going to do it for a larger group, obviously you're going to need to make multiple batches. And I don't know how many of you have an air fryer. Air fryer is kind of something. It's sort of like the Instapot. I like held off on getting it, and then once I got it, I'm like, man, this is going to be something that I enjoy using because it's like vegetables are done in just a few minutes with it. It's great if you're wanting to, roast a batch of vegetables for dinner. All right. Yeah, chicken is one of those things that I'm not just going to wipe my hands on the towel. It's funny, I see people, these guys on these cooking shows that they're handling, like chicken or something, and they're wiping their hands on the towel and moving on, and it's kind of like, man, how much stuff are you contaminating in your kitchen? All right. Now then, I'm going to put this in the air fryer, and we're going to start this thing off at 375. So let me make sure. Yep, it's at 375, and we're gonna cook it we're gonna do 10 minutes, then we're gonna turn them over, and then we're gonna do another 10 minutes. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make the sauces, and we're gonna toast some cashews and some hemp hearts. What this is kind of a substitute for this sticky rice that is part of this Thai dish or this Thai seasoning. So I'm going to get this thing set to 10 minutes. All right, and that thing will start doing its countdown. All right, and now then I'm going to go ahead and get everything else going with the sauce. So what I'm going to do with the sauce is I'm going to use 1.5 limes. I'm going to use a 1.5 tablespoons of fish sauce. I'm just going to eyeball that. So I'll put that in first so I can just kind of see what it looks like. I'm going to chop up, they call for a 1/4 cup of cilantro. With me, once again, it's just, okay, that's a handful. I'm
I'm going to chop a shallot up real fine and put that in there. And they said 1.5 teaspoons of this, and once again, we'll just eyeball that. And then once we toast the nuts and the hemp hearts, I'm going to toast them in the skillet, and then I'm going to grind them in a spice grinder, and we're just going to dust this dipping sauce with those at the end. And then, just so that we've got kind of the traditional hot wing stuff, I'm going to use some ghee and some Frank's hot sauce to make kind of that traditional hot wing sauce. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of eyeball my my fish sauce, and that looks like that's probably about a tablespoon and a half. Move this out of the way, and then we'll put some red pepper flakes in. Yeah, it's probably a teaspoon. And let's do the lime juice. Well, you can smell that fish sauce. Alright, that's 1/2. Do another one. Yeah, I have, it's like, this lime's trying to get me. It's like I like wings, but a lot of times I don't like the sauce that's on them because it's either too sweet or that's been the main reservation that I've had. So it's like, but I like the fried chicken wings that I get like in a Chinese food restaurant. So I thought, well, let's see what we can do with this. See if it's a flavor that we can pull off. Let me grab the shallot, grab my knife. What I'm going to do with this, move this out of the way, is I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm cutting the shallot in half, and then I'm just going to peel the skin off, and then just real finely dice this and put it in there. And the nice thing is that the lime juice will kind of take some of the edge out of the shallot. I don't know if well, I'm sure everybody has a team that they're rooting for in the Super Bowl. I saw Pat Mahomes. My son went to Texas Tech, and I went to the game that Texas Tech played OU. And I forgot what the final score was. Tech ended up losing to OU, but I'd never seen anybody like quarterback a game like Mahomes did at Tech. And so it's like I've been a fan of his ever since then. So I really hope that they're able to pull it off and win a Super Bowl. Plus, I like Andy Reid. So, if the 49ers win, it's not going to break my heart, but I'd really like to see Mahomes win it. I just have never seen anybody that has that level of athleticism. It's just unbelievable some of the stuff that kid can do. And I was reading a thing today, and they were basically saying that they spent this last year kind of working on his ability to generate power from a lot of different positions. And what they're saying is, he's still got a lot of upside. That this kid is still getting better. And I was reading a thing where they were talking about him throwing a football, I think it was 60 yards on his knees. And it's like, how in the hell can anybody do that? So, I think he's going to be fun to watch. I just hope he doesn't get hurt, because I think he's going to be, doing some pretty incredible things over the years. All right, now let's chop the cilantro up. And you know, this, you could add other peppers to it. I was going to put Thai chilies in it, and then I went, well, it's got the red pepper in it already. That probably is going to, you know, be enough. And if it's not, you know, you can have some Thai chilies on the side. All right, got the cilantro in there. We give it a stir, and we'll kind of sit this off to the side. We'll start toasting the cashews and the hemp hearts. All right, get this good and stirred. And you know, I was just thinking about adding salt to this, and then I went, wait a minute, it's got one of the saltiest condiments that there is out there, which is fish sauce. So I think this will be salty enough on its own. We'll taste test this before we call it done. It might need just a little bit more liquid. All right, so now then, I'm going to light this baby, and then we'll start toasting the nuts. We're just gonna, okay, that's not quite ready. I'm gonna clear a spot so whenever that dings, I can, I'll just put it here and then turn the wings over and put it back in for another 10 minutes. And we're just gonna kind of keep moving this around so that it doesn't burn. And then the way that you're going to know that this is getting close is that it'll you know, really start to give you the smells. You'll be able to smell the nuts starting to get, you know, getting toasted, and also the hemp hearts. Yeah, that's cranking along. Yeah, I went to Costco to get, I was going to get, you know, their organic wings, and they were sold out. And my guess is that with the Super Bowl coming up, they probably had a run on those early. I'm going to grab a spoon. Just to make sure we keep this moving in the right direction. It's kind of hard to tell because the hemp hearts kind of have some dark, like, I guess it's the part of the hulls. But you can't really smell it yet. That's usually, anytime you're toasting anything, that's kind of the first thing that you're going to notice. That's just about ready to ding. When it does, I'll pull this thing off so that it doesn't. You know, when you're toasting this stuff, especially on a dry skillet, you can go from, hey, everything's fine, fine, until all of a sudden it's like, whoops, it's burned in a kind of a heartbeat. And you know, the other, you know, another side that would be great, and I should have thought about it, we could have done guacamole, but you know, what I do with guacamole is I use however many avocados you're going to do, and then same thing, cut the shallot up super fine, cut the cilantro up, squeeze a lime in it, take the seeds out of a jalapeno, put the jalapeno in, and then take cherry tomatoes and kind of dice those up, and you know, add salt to it, and you know, you're in pretty good shape. But I think the shallot is kind of a nice touch to it, and you know, you gotta have cilantro and lime and jalapeno. I mean, what would guacamole be without jalapeno? Starting to smell the cashews just a little bit. And you're starting to see just a little bit of color develop too. You know, I'm always amazed at all of the CBD products and the hemp hearts, and it's like, you know, it wasn't that long ago where that you couldn't grow it in the U.S., you know. So it'll be what to kind of see what else happens with you know, like cannabis cultivation over the years. I think that we're, you know, probably a few years away from seeing it probably, you know, legal on a national basis, or at least it's not going to surprise me. But, you know, I think hemp hearts are supposed to be a pretty good source of protein. You know, it's not going to replace a steak, but, you know, it's like it's nice that people have some you know, some different protein options. I don't know what the like omega-6 profile is on it, because the last thing you want to do is, you know, if it's like real inflammatory. I don't think it is. Let's turn this thing off just for a second. Yeah, these are looking great. I'll turn these over. Yeah, if you have a convection oven, I guess, you know, you're kind of able to accomplish this. Unfortunately, I don't have a convection oven, so this is kind of a nice nice option. Okay, put them in for another 10 minutes. Being careful not to set my hand on that. Alright, get this lit. Put this back in for another. Tell you what, I'm going to check it in. I will check it in 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is starting to get kind of a golden brown. Probably should have put the cashews in first, just because it takes a little bit more to heat them, but you can smell them starting to come along. Starting to see a little bit of color develop on them. It's going to be interesting to see what coffee tastes like tomorrow after I use this coffee grinder. And I could, you know, you can also use like a mortar and pestle. I figured from a standpoint of time and ease, it's just easier to use the coffee grinder. Almost getting there. I think the hemp hearts are really close. Let's see what one of these is like. Closer. What I'm going to do, just so that we don't burn the hemp hearts, I'm going to toss all of this in a small bowl, and then we'll pull out the cashews, put those back in. cook them a little bit longer. Like I said last week, as long as you don't burn it, everything's pretty much recoverable. But once you scorch it, it's kind of hard to recover. We'll wipe this off. Because if I didn't any of the stuff that was left in there, that little bit, it would burn for sure. So I'm just going to pick these out by hand. There's not that many of them. They're definitely hot. Just need a little bit more coaxing along to get completely done. Yeah, I would suggest probably doing the cashews first and then adding the hemp hearts. That would probably be the less painful way to do it. Okay, here we go. So now we can get these toasted. Well, we got about 8 minutes on that. I'd be curious on the Facebook group. Let me know what sauces that you like best on hot wings. I'm curious. I thought about trying to do like an almond butter dipping sauce, but that's not really hot wings. So, I think the Thai stuff will be interesting. And then, the Franks, that obviously that's going to have a lot more kind of the classic profile. And then what's the favorite food that, or the food that you kind of it's like synonymous with the Super Bowl. I mean, I guess with some people it's going to be pizza. With me it's nachos. And it's like, we'll probably make like a great big thing of nachos. It's like I've been doing this like real tight keto for the month of January. Well, January will be done. I haven't had anything to drink all January, so it's I'll probably have a cocktail watching the game, and but yeah, I think we'll probably make a big thing of nachos. Either ground pork or ground beef and cheese and jalapenos. I don't know what I will put on them. I'll figure that out. And probably have some hot wings. All right, these are getting some good color on them. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I saw this thing. I saw it online, so who knows if it's true or not, but I think it is. The cashew grows at the bottom of this fruit, and I'm just like, man, that's the kind of the weirdest growing setup. And it sounds like that they're fairly labor intensive to harvest, so I guess it kind of makes sense why they're so damn expensive. But ever since I did keto, I really haven't eaten cashews that much. Mainly mine is like almonds or pistachios or macadamia nuts. And I do almond butter. I like that a lot, but I haven't been eating that as much lately. It's just the thing with nuts is they're so high in calories and there's something that you can just like kind of eat mindlessly, right? I mean,
You think about it, if you're going to sit down and eat a steak, you're going to think, you eat a 12-ounce steak, you don't kind of do it absentmindedly. A cup of almonds has the same amount of calories as a 12-ounce sirloin. And it's like, wow, okay, when was the last time that you just sat down and kind of nibbled on a 12-ounce sirloin? But it can happen real easy with almonds. So, and it's like, if they're great food, it's just, you kind of have to be a little bit deliberate with it. Okay. So I'm going to put the almonds in first. And then I'll just put them in one of these glass bowls. Almond dust. Or, excuse me, that's not almond dust, it's cashew dust. And that is hot as hell. I think instead of using my finger, I use a spoon. Now then, we'll do the hemp hearts. I don't know how much more this will grind up. We'll see. Yeah, a little bit. Now, there's going to be quite a bit of this left because you're only, they call for like a tablespoon, but I think what I'm going to do is just kind of put kind of a light dusting on the top. Stir that up. All right, so that's done. That's about ready to bing. And I'm going to be curious. This recipe said 20 minutes, 10 minutes flip it, 10 minutes flip it, and then crank it to 400 and leave it for 8 minutes. And I'm not sure that it's going to need to go that long. We'll definitely take a look and see, kind of how crispy everything is. Obviously there's nothing worse than a raw chicken wing, so let's see. We can always cut into one and check it out. Let's taste this. Oh yeah, it's tasty. And you can add like a little bit of apple juice to this. I just decided to do it without it adding anything sweet to it, and I like it like that. But you can certainly adjust this with like just a little bit of honey, or like maybe a tablespoon of apple juice.
I had some apple sauce that I was going to put a little in there, and I looked at it and it had expired like last year, and went, I think it'll be just fine without apple juice. So, all right, let's see. But you know, that's more of that kind of that mise en place message I'm always preaching. It's like it doesn't, you know, it's not just that you have the ingredients. You need to make sure that your ingredients are in good shape. So, this public service announcement is brought to you by Fearless Cooking. Check your ingredients. Before you start cooking. And, you know, my goal is for us to get to where over time we're using recipes less. But here's the thing that I do with recipes. I look at stuff to get an idea to try, so then I can kind of riff on it later. You know, if I'm honest, what I make, you know, over and over and over again is roasted meats, roasted vegetables, or I'll grill the meats and I'll roast vegetables and I'll just mix and match. And then I'll throw some sauces in, and I'll throw something like this in that it's like, okay, that I've experimented with. Yeah, I don't think that these need that second 8 minutes. In fact, I'm going to kind of make an executive decision and go, I think we're done. Let's see. We'll let those hang out for a second, and we'll heat up our sauce. So I'm not going to make, they call for like a half a cup. What I'm going to do is just make enough of this so that I can try it and see, okay, here's how it's going to go. So I'm going to put like equal parts. Yeah, and this is Vital Farms ghee, and I've never used ghee a lot, but I think I'm going to probably start using it a little more often. Let's just take the top off of this. Yeah, that looks about right. My favorite way to cook. All right, let's put it in for about 30 seconds and see what that does. All right, let's do 45. But yeah, once like early on, we did some recipe that we used, what was it? It was lemongrass and cilantro and like shallots and jalapeno and coconut milk and lime. And I just realized, hey, those flavors work together. It doesn't make any difference what kind of protein I'm going to do with it. Like we used it in a coconut milk to do. I'm going to check on this. It's popping pretty good. I think we may be. And so it's like, okay, once you kind of experiment with some flavors and you know they work, then it's a matter of just kind of playing around and I could use that with pork. I could use it with fish, chicken. We used it when we did the poached salmon. It was the poaching liquid, and we used like Thai basil with it. And it's like that was kind of one of those. So it's like once I do a recipe, then it's kind of letting me know, all right, this is going to work. So I don't have to go in and measure it out. I'm just, it's like, all right, if I'm trying to figure out what to do with the protein, I know I've got that as a resource. Okay, this is kind of separated, which is probably would have been better to do the oil slowly, but you know what? I think it's going to work fine. Let's cut one of these. Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure it's done on the inside. Actually, let's just use the instant read and see what it says. Yeah, 196. Yeah, that's done. 192. Yep. All right.
Let's see. Oh yeah, that definitely works. Now, let's try. I'll leave that in there. I love it when an experiment works, especially on video. Wow, I like that. I do think a little bit of honey would be great. Just a touch, like, maybe a teaspoon. Now, when I make this on Sunday, I'll probably add a teaspoon of honey to it. But enjoy this. I hope that the team that you're rooting for wins, as long as you're not rooting against me. So I guess I should put it this way. I guess if you're rooting for San Francisco, or if you're rooting for San Francisco, we're still friends, but I hope your team loses. And anyway, I hope it's a good game. And enjoy your chicken wings. And look forward to cooking with you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.